I've spent years navigating the corporate world and studying the principles of wealth creation. I know what works and what doesn't. In this video, I'm going to break down the two main paths to financial freedom, the slow lane and the fast lane. We'll go through the pros and cons of each, discuss how to transition from the slow lane to the fast lane, and provide actionable steps to start building wealth on your terms. So let's get into it. The slow lane to wealth is the traditional 9 to 5, where you save a significant portion of whatever your take-home pay is and invest it in safe, low-risk index funds over a long period of time, and you let compound interest do its thing over a period of decades. And then by the time you're at the retirement age, typically around 60 years old, you will be rich. It is a tried and true, proven path towards wealth creation. It's just going to take a long time to get there because it means that you're going to need to be disciplined and consistent over a period of decades where you're making the right decisions over and over again, and it's just a long-term strategy. If you can delay your gratification and live within your means, the slow path to wealth will get you rich. Now, the pros of the slow lane are that when you're working in your 9 to 5, you will have a steady and consistent paycheck that you know will be coming in every week or every other week, whatever your time frame is. And it's predictable. By taking your excess savings and investing it in index funds, it will grow over a long period of time, albeit slowly. And you're not going to be exposed to the volatility of entrepreneurship, where you might not make any money for a period of months and then have rampant spikes, and then your business declines all of a sudden. So with a steady 9 to 5 paycheck, you know how much money you're going to be making, and you're going to be getting consistent raises over a long period of time. Now, the cons of the slow lane are that you are dependent on one stream of income. And so if you are later in your career and there's a huge industry shift, or you get laid off from your job, then you're not going to have any income coming in, and it might be difficult for you to find another job. One of the issues with the slow lane is that your income is tied to your time. So if you're paid on a salary or if you're hourly, you won't get paid until a certain amount of time passes. And so what you're doing is you are trading your skills for a consistent paycheck, which means there's going to be really little room for you to have explosive growth at almost any point in your career. Sure, you can get a promotion where you might get a 15% raise, which is great, but those promotions will be few and far between, and you won't be able to experience any massive increases in your total compensation, because part of being an employee in the slow lane is that you're going to be limited in what your growth is in exchange for stability. If retirement is your end goal, you won't be able to achieve it until you're in your 60s, which is fine. But if you want to achieve that idea of financial freedom sooner, that's not going to be possible in the slow lane. Now, the fast lane is entrepreneurship, which is where fundamentally you are detaching your time from income by creating value for customers. Entrepreneurship is all about solving problems, taking risks, and creating value that ultimately turns into passive income. The potential to make more money is higher in the fast lane than it is in the slow lane, but it's definitely not guaranteed, and most people aren't ever able to get to the point where they're able to make more money than they would in the traditional 9 to 5. The pros of the fast lane is that your earnings potential becomes uncapped, which means you theoretically can make as much money as value that you can create for your customers. Relative to the slow lane, working a 9 to 5, you can only make so much money, and any incremental value that gets created is captured by your company as profit. In the fast lane, you're also able to have more flexibility. As the business owner, you don't have a boss, and theoretically, you should be able to take time off whenever it is that you want to, and then the business should be able to run itself. And scalability is another pro of the fast lane. If you figure out how to solve a problem for a customer and are able to hire other people to train that can also save that problem, then you're going to be able to create a lot of scale where you will put in lower amounts of effort and be able to generate higher amounts of value, and then be able to pocket the incremental profit that you're making by doing that. Now, as far as cons of the fast lane, there is no guaranteed paycheck, and there is no guarantee that your venture is going to work in the first place. And so it's going to require significant time and effort for you to be able to get to the point that would ever even replace what your current income would be in your 9-to-5. In a 9-to-5, you can separate your workday from your personal life. When you're not at the office, you're not working, you can enjoy your personal life. When you're an entrepreneur, you're on 24/7. There's no weekends, there's no vacations. The company is you, and there's no taking breaks from being an entrepreneur. Now, the flip side to that, people who are close to you won't understand why it is that you're always working, when theoretically you should be able to work for yourself. But the flip side is that if you start a business, it's probably on something that you care a lot more about, because it is a reflection of who you are. And so that's the trade, is always being on the clock for working on something that's really interesting and you feel personally invested in and are able to grow and see it as a reflection of you. Your income by working as an entrepreneur is going to be inconsistent. You don't know how long whatever product or service that you're working on will be successful, or it might be seasonal over a period of time. And so you're always going to need to be thinking of new solutions so that you can figure out how to smooth out that income curve and manage your money separately from a 9-to-5, where there's a lot more predictability and you can see the path over a long term. Now, let me be clear. There is nothing wrong with the slow path. It is a great path where you can have a predictable stream of income and a clear path towards getting rich in your traditional retirement time. Even if you don't love your job, it can fund your lifestyle that you love to do outside of your 9-to-5, where you can completely uncheck from your career and just focus on your friends, family, and things you like to do. However, if the fast lane is something that's interesting to you, then there is a path to get from the slow lane to the fast lane. And the way that I recommend doing it is starting with a side hustle alongside your 9-to-5. With this side hustle, what you want to do is dedicate 5 to 10 hours per week just exploring and building out entrepreneurial skills. Realistically, it's going to take about 3 years for you to generate meaningful income so that you can leave your 9-to-5 and start your own business. You should be using your 9-to-5 job to help fund what it is that you really want to do. So with those 5 to 10 hours a week, you can you can buy courses to learn about how to start a business. You can experiment with marketing. You can fail safe, because if your side hustle doesn't make money for a few months, then you're okay, because you still have a paycheck that'll be coming in. If you don't know what it is that you would do to start a side hustle, I would look to the internet, because that's where significant opportunity still is, because so many people who are smart and have 9-to-5 jobs haven't taken the path of going towards exploring the internet to see if there's a way that they can make money online. What you want to do is think about a pain point that's in your own life and see how you can solve that for your own life. And so if there's something that you've struggled with, you could either create a product or service to help other people with that same pain that you had, or you could go online and try to find out how to teach other people how to get over the same problems that you had. And if your system really works, and with some clever marketing, you'll be able to find your audience so that you can start to learn the skills of a business and actually make a few dollars off of what it is that you already know. You'll have time to scale it, but fail safe, start with a side hustle and see if you can build the skills over a long period of time while you have a steady paycheck at your 9-to-5. I know 5 to 10 hours a week is quite a significant time commitment, so what you want to do is build systems and create habits so that you can stick with it over the long term. When it comes to going to the gym, anyone who goes to the gym understands that there's no certain period of time where you all of a sudden become fit. The way you become fit is to make health and fitness a lifestyle change in your life, and you do it indefinitely. When you start going to the gym, what you need to do is just be consistent over a long period of time. Going 4 times a week is too much for you and you hate it, you're gonna stop doing it. And so you should start by going only 1 day a week and make sure that you can commit to going that 1 day a week every week. Once that becomes a part of your daily routine, it feels weird if you miss it and it feels bad if you miss it. And so you commit to going once a week. Once that's easy for you, you can layer in a second day or a third day, and those habits will start to stack on top of each other over time. What that basically is creating a system. If you say, I'm gonna go to the gym once a week on Wednesday after work and stick with it, every time that day comes around, you are going to go and it will feel bad if you miss it. When it comes to starting a side hustle, you need to create a system and stick with it so that you can start building habits, because we gotta be in this for the long term. And so 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe you put in 1 or 2 hours on Monday, 1 or 2 hours on Wednesday, 3 hours on Saturday and Sunday. That'll get you 10 hours per week. And if you can just block off on your calendar those dates and times that you're going to work on your side hustle, over a period of time, it's gonna feel natural to you. And so you're gonna forget about, hey, I committed 1, 2, 3 months, whatever it is. You're gonna get in the mindset that it's part of your life, and over a long enough period of time, you're gonna lose track of it. And the act of being consistent over a long period of time is how your side hustle is gonna grow into something that'll be really meaningful. If you're going to start a business, the first thing that you need to do is identify what problem it is that you're gonna solve. And it can be a problem that you've solved for someone else, but it's usually better if it's a problem that it's solved for you. Because if you solved a problem for yourself, then you're going to know all of the intricacies of that problem and be able to explain that to the customer to sell it. Once you think that you have an idea, before you start investing money and resources to really try and blow this thing up, you want to validate it with customers first. And so I recommend you sell the product before you actually invest in it. And so instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars building a product and then trying to see if anyone's gonna buy it, learn how to run digital marketing or marketing ads with influencers to bring customers to a landing page, and see if you can force any conversions on a mocked up product before you actually go out and build it. If you can create a landing page and get people to go to the checkout lane and actually click checkout on a product before it says sold out, and if you can do that with some decent conversions, then you might be on to building an actual business, and then you can invest in the resources to actually build out the product and then run marketing again to sell it out. But a lot of times people think they have a great idea, but they don't know how to sell it, and then they get stuck with a bunch of inventory, and then they never try entrepreneurship again. So make sure that you validate your idea before you go out and invest significant dollars. Once your idea is validated, it's all about scale. And so first thing to do is nail your selling point. Make sure that you can convert with a few customers, and then you can get into the business mindset of figuring out how you can grow this thing. But it's one step at a time, and the only way that you're gonna do that is by playing the long game and just being consistent with doing the work so that you can build up all the skills that you need to eventually leave your 9-to-5 job and get into entrepreneurship. The slow lane to building wealth, it's a great option, but it has limitations. The fast lane has potentially higher upside and more flexibility, but it's gonna require a lot of work to transition from the slow lane to the fast lane. And so the key is to start small, validate your ideas, and build systems so that you can safely transition from the slow lane to the fast lane. Whether or not you choose the slow lane or the fast lane is ultimately up to you, but it's important to commit to a path, because either one of these paths is going to be better than no lane. And the most important step is to take action today.